Hello. Hello, Facebook. How are you? You know what it is, what time it is. I am on with another topic. Let me make sure that I'm live. Okay. All right, my phone just froze. Okay, I am Kristen Nicole Mann, and I am on to talk about 3 ways to unlearn the past mindsets that you have had. So, I have a lot of information. I'm really excited about this live, and I will be reading off of my phone a lot because it's a lot to get through in a quick time. What I'm trying to do is stay consistent with this because these are things that I have conversations with people about, went through, other people I know are going through. So I just want to bring awareness to these type of things that I sit around and piques my interest. So leading off from the last live that I did about the environment, I believe it was about 10 ways to know that you're in the wrong environment. Well, tonight I wanted to continue that in another way because what I want to bring awareness to is the unlearning that we are all dealing with in different facets of our lives. Like there might be something that I have to unlearn that you may have to unlearn um, in another department in your life. So we're all going through this. Society is rapidly changing, and sometimes it feels like we all can't keep up. So I wanted to bring awareness to some of the things that I saw doing research on showing that we're not alone in this. So, first thing, I'm going to describe what unlearning is because unlearning could seem a little radical to some people sometimes because they may resist change. But if you live in the society we live in, you can't honestly resist change. Like, change is happening around us no matter what. It doesn't matter if you like the routine that you've been doing for years. It still has to change the way that just everything is changing right now. Technology, industries, families, the way you do things. So, uh, what you need? Legend. What? All right, so let's get started. Legend wanted to say hi. The Toy Story. Huh? The Toy Story games. Okay. So, what is unlearning? Unlearning is the act of eliminating a previously regular practice from habit. That which we can do with our eyes closed, that which we know like the back of our hand, is no longer the same. We live in continually changing times. Unlearning is a tool that allows us to learn from a previous experience or pattern while making room for new learning. So we are in a time where it's like we need to make room for a new way of learning. There's things that we can do that can come to us easy, quickly, and sometimes that takes a change that has to happen for it to have a different outcome. Like the results that you used to could get, you may not can get now. Doing that routine or doing the things that you used to do, the way that you used to do them, they might not work right now. So I wanted to start out with that definition. And then what happens when we refuse to unlearn. So Let me put this in the comments first. Hold on. What happens when we refuse to unlearn? Well, it's not always good. Oops, sorry, y'all. It's not always good when we refuse to unlearn because, again, stuff is shifting. The shift has actually already took place, but people are just now catching up to it. So, what happens when we refuse to unlearn? It is true that the systems we have deeply relied on for years are now evolving at a dizziness pace. So people are dizzy right now. You know that little meme with the hamster where everything looks blurred? That's like a lot of our view right now. Like we're kind of like, what is going on? So you're not alone in this. And this is why I'm going over it, because we all have things we need to unlearn. So keeping up with them can be a challenge, but a refusal to address this evolution can threaten growth and even survival. So, learning to unlearn requires focusing our energy on limiting or stopping our use and dependence on older, outdated means of attaining a goal. A sudden change can throw us off balance. How many of us have had that happen? I definitely have. When a wrench is thrown in a routine or something that you're used to being a breeze, and then it turns out that you have to shift the way you do it. That could be a hard resisting change sometime for us. Um, a sudden change can throw us off balance. Refusing to unlearn would mean rejecting the disruptions that are deeply and rapidly affecting the world's systems today. So, I'm going to take you through three steps really quick of unlearning. Um, so, unlearning, like learning, is an extensive process. So, when you unlearn a system that you're used to, it can feel like you're the black sheep, like you're the eyeball out. People probably are wondering why you're trying to unlearn a system that everyone's used to. So it's like that other meme where everybody's on the left trying to get something, and then you're like on the right by yourself trying to get something else. So a lot of people are going through this change right now, and the first step I would say for unlearning is to un oh the first step to unlearning is acceptance. The first step to unlearning is acceptance. And let me make sure I put this in the comments so that you all have the notes. And I know it's really late, so y'all forgive me if I'm like blah blah. So the first step to unlearning is acceptance. We have to recognize that the models, systems, and processes that have worked so far do not achieve the same results anymore. Now, this one can feel like trauma. It can feel like traumatic because it's almost like you're used to what can I use? It's almost like you're used to a book being like this, like paperback, and then everything shifts to paperless. That took a long time for people to get used to. And some of the things we're dealing with in society right now, we cannot dodge. Just like AI is a part of everything right now. It used to be rumors about it. It used to be like people talking about it, but it's in everything. It's involved in every industry. It's taking over people's jobs. So it's something that you cannot dodge. More and more people are leaving paper books and they're going to Kindle, online ebooks. So they even added a journal, online journal on the Apple phones. Like these are things that we're not going to be able to resist no more. And so when you have a lot of rapid changes happening amongst you, that can feel traumatic. And then you can feel like you're just in this weird world by yourself. And, we have to do things different. And as I've been saying in my past videos, change takes work. Like it doesn't happen overnight, but you have to have a mindset to say, I am going to unlearn what I know and I'm going to learn what I need to do now. And that can be hard. That could be hard. That could take counseling. That could take you going to a psychologist. That can take you um, feeling real uncomfortable. And so when we recognize that the same things we've been doing for a long time doesn't work, that's the first step as well. Like acknowledging that it doesn't work no more. And that kind of goes with the same thing as acceptance. Like accept this way of things that I used to do, it doesn't work no more. So now I'm going to have to try a new way. And that's like really the journey of entrepreneurship. Things are different. People are no longer they can no longer base their businesses being brick and mortar. Some of them had to pivot to completely online. That's hard in itself because if you have been used to opening your doors and you've had to close them because more of your customers wanted to shop from you online, you could feel like that's a loss because you got to unlearn the brick and mortar way and you have to learn everything that's online. So that's just another example. The second step of unlearning is finding sources of learning and relearning. So this is the work part. Like we have to be able to find the resources that we need in order to relearn certain things. So learning never stops. If you pay attention to the pattern of these steps, learning never stops. And you should never get to the point of not wanting to learn anything. If you get to that point of not being open to learning stuff, you might not be in a good mind state, like mindset. You might have had a setback and you didn't notice how your response was to that. And you might have shut down. I've talked about freeze mode. Freeze mode is something that was brought to my awareness this year. I didn't know that I was in freeze mode until I looked it up and I was like, oh my gosh, these are the symptoms of being in freeze mode because my response to the changes shut me down. Like I was, stuff is happening fast and you're like, you shut down and you don't even know like that was your response to the changing of the society. So that's the second step to unlearning is finding the sources of learning and relearning. All right. And then the first one, I'll show this for my YouTube. The first step to unlearning is acceptance. All right. So I will go to the third one. Oh, and then last thing I want to say about this one is this second step is this can help us open ourselves to experimentation. So experience different things. Don't get stuck in a rut of just like trying to keep hammering at the same thing the same way, doing the same tricks, schemes, whatever you do. Like experience different things, experience different ways, experience different communities. So that's the last thing I want to say about that. Now, the third step to unlearning, putting this in my comments. So, the third step to unlearning is being open to new experiences and knowledge. So, this is what I just went over. New knowledge sometimes is hard to accept because once we have our mind made up, I'm a person like once I have my mind made up about certain things, it's hard to get me to like switch or pivot. And this year I had to pivot a lot. And sometimes we get in a comfort zone and we're like, I don't really want to do the unlearning or the work to unlearn something that I'm used to doing. And we all have those moments. But this is a way to encourage myself and you to unlearn, to relearn. So it's not a loss, but it is the past. And we have to move forward with new strategy. And there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes we feel like that's a bad thing, especially with our brains. Like if it's used to doing certain things, it can interpret us doing the new things like it will freak out. So our bodies will have a different response that we're not used to, but you have to stay consistent with it. So try new experiences and find new knowledge about, things that you want to, whether it's pertaining to your job, whether it's pertaining to parenting, whether it's pertaining to, because I know the schools, like they're changing a lot of stuff for our kids at a rapid pace. So we have to, as parents, unlearn the things that we did in school and relearn what they're doing in schools now. um and it's sometimes it looks like French, like it looks weird, um, and there's some resistance there, but we will all get through this together. So another thing is, as we recognize the patterns that we engage in, we need to find ways to break them. So it's like breaking patterns. When you talk about break, I can't break nothing in front of y'all, but think about a piece of wood breaking. Like there's splinters, there's all these like things sticking out. That's how we are when we're starting to relearn something that we're supposed to be unlearning. And it's painful sometimes. It is really painful. It's like those splinters that we get from actually breaking these patterns that we used to do. And so we must put a stop to existing thought patterns and focus solely on the new ones we are trying to assimilate into our consciousness. This step requires a dedication to learning to unlearn by allowing relearning to occur in its place. Okay? So, unlearning and relearning require us to change and challenge our own beliefs, habits, and comfort zones. Recognizing and resolving internal resistance can help us overcome the fear of the new. Let me put that in the comments because that was good. That was good. All right, let me try to put it on the screen. All right, so you can't even see me, but unlearning and relearning require us to change and challenge our own beliefs, habits, and comfort zones. Recognizing and resolving internal resistance can help us overcome the fear of the new. So we can internally have fear of the new. We could be fearful of this unlearning and it could stop the process. And so we want to be open to new habits, like consistent every single day with changing our habits, changing our strategy, um, showing up in a different way. That's that we have to be consistent with that. Keeping up with change, times will continue to change, disruptions will consistently emerge, and we will also always need to grow and thrive in the world's current environment. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure I put the notes in for y'all. So, unlearning has become an important skill today. The pace of business change has intensified dramatically now as nearly 70%. 70%, y'all. So that just shows like this change is rapid. Our mindset has to shift faster than it used to. So it could be feel like you can't like keep up. You might feel like you're on this hamster wheel and you're like, I'm out of breath. I need water. And then you get this little break and it's like, okay, I can keep up now. And then it like goes like this, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Unlearning can help us avoid skill set imbalances, reduce repetitive errors, and enable extensive growth. Learning to unlearn allows unlearning the past, learning from it, and opening yourself up to relearning skills to equip yourself for the future. So we might have a skill, let's say we have a skill of typing or we have a skill of writing, and or you have a skill of writing. Writing right now is under attack because of AI. So we have AI that people are using to produce books, and they're saying that they wrote the books, but they really just typed in one sentence, and this technology made a whole book for them. So what writers have to do now is change the way that they write. They don't necessarily have to dispose the gift, but it's like you want to outwork the AI basically. So you have to find creative ways to write differently. You don't want to sound like a machine. And so these are certain things and changes happening. That's one industry. Like I said, I brought up the education system. Even with artwork, like AI is competing against artwork. There's digital artwork. And there's been this conversation in the art industry, like, do digital artists actually count as being a visual artist? Because you're working from a computer, and sometimes people, they buck up against that because that's a different way, that's a new perspective of being a visual artist. And so there's a lot going on right now in everyone's industry. There's new things rolling out every single day. And you just want to pay attention. And I work hard to kind of pay attention to a lot of things that I wouldn't used to pay attention to. Like, I wouldn't used to think about finances. Now I'm looking at financial, news and stuff like that. Where I can invest. What mindset that takes to know what money language is. Like, we're all having to get out of our comfort zone. So at the end of the day, this is about getting out of your comfort zone. You don't want to stay in the comfort that you had before a certain period of time. Even if it was recent, like last month, you might have to get out of the comfort zone of where you were last month. Um, so I just wanted to go over this topic because I just thought it was a great way to transition from the environment live I did. If you have not watched that, go back and watch it. It's on my YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, Kristen Nicole Mann, and I'll have this up on YouTube as well after I get off. But I hope this helps someone, and I will be back on to talk about other things, but let's all unlearn together. It takes a community effort, and if you can find people to unlearn with, that's probably the best route to go. Because you all can encourage each other. I know tonight I had a Bible study with some wonderful ladies, and even with reading the Bible, I have to unlearn stuff, like unlearn the way that I was taught certain passages or certain chapters. So it's never ending. Learning is never ending. So um it's an exciting thing. So it's something to keep getting excited about, even if you don't want to do some push-ups or something. But I hope this helps you all, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.